Angel of the Bat, the religious odyssey of Cassandra Cain. Inspired by Pitch by Gail Simone, written and read for you by MJTR. Chapter 1. It began as a standard night on patrol. No big breakouts, no new faces of crime, nothing special. Just after 3 a.m., a miniature poodle came running out of the automatic doors of the Gotham City General Hospital, his master just behind him. The owner was a portly old man dressed in black. A white collar covered his neck, and he held an umbrella at his side, though it had stopped raining since he had first come. Most of his hair had been lost with age, but he'd managed to comb the little that remained over his scalp. It was only a few blocks to the rectory where he lived, and he hadn't brought his wallet to hail a cab with. As he guided his dog through the streets, the old one turned at the sound of a man in a nearby alley when he called, "Hey, Pops!" The young man was seated against a dumpster and held out a plastic cup. "Spare some change?" The old man smiled, pulled on his dog's leash, and entered the alleyway. He knelt before the younger man and said, "I'm afraid I didn't bring my wallet this evening, but I think I have something else I might be able to offer you. How about—" It was as far as he got. A smashing sound resonated through the alley moments later. A baseball bat cracked across the old man's back. He shouted in pain as he fell to the ground. His dog barked, snarled, and tried its hardest to compensate for its small size. The one with the bat entered the alley. The one seated against the dumpster flashed him a grin as he rose to his feet. "Sorry there, Padre," he chuckled. "But you of all people probably know, angel dust doesn't come easy." "You spend all night on that one?" his compatriot asked as he frisked the old man's pockets. "Now what the hell? You really didn't have anything on him?" "Oh, come on!" the first one complained as the dog continued to bark. "Thought he was one of those praise the Lord types, not one of the living in poverty types." The two didn't even notice as a shadow began to cover them. "What the hell are you talking about? And hey, dog, shut up!" The dog made a lunge and dug its teeth into the uncovered leg of the one with the weapon. He shouted and tried to shake it free as his partner pulled a handgun from under his shirt. "Oh, you should have kept your dog on a shorter leash, old man." He took aim as his partner managed to kick the dog off. "Let's hope all dogs go to heaven, huh?" Before he could pull the trigger, the shadow made its descent. A figure clad in black jumped from the rooftop, landed on the armed one's back, and kicked the gun out of his reach. The man with the bat yelled in response, though it wasn't clear what he said. He pulled the weapon back, intent to crash it into the figure. The one in black caught the attack, kicked him in the stomach, broke the bat over its knee, tossed the pieces aside, and punched him in the face. The force seemed enough to knock him unconscious. The old man pushed himself onto his knees, wiped at his face a little, and grabbed his dog's leash. The figure, whom he could identify as female, put out her hand to help him to his feet. "Come," she said. The man was halfway there when he yelled, "Behind you!" She had anticipated the first man would be back up, and, without releasing the older one's hand, curved herself to the side and kicked him in the face. When the old man was on his feet, she grabbed at the When the old man was back on his feet, she grabbed and twisted the perp's arm until his screams filled the alley. The old man shouted, "Enough!" She turned to him and settled a little as he said it. "If you can, please help me back to the hospital." The figure nodded and went to his side to give him support. She pulled him upward. One of the old man's hands held firmly to the leash. "My cell phone. It's in my right pocket. Could you hand it to me?" She complied, scooped up his dog with her free hand, and motioned to him that it was all right to let go of the leash. His hands now free, he dialed 911, and when he received an answer, said, "I need to speak with Gotham Emergency. There are 2 young men laying beaten in an alley on 34th Street. This was the first thing to happen that surprised the figure in black. She would have put in a word to the police that the 2 criminals were awaiting arrest, but this man had called that they be taken in for care first and foremost. In the light of the hospital, the figure was unquestionably the Batgirl, unbeknownst to the public as Cassandra Cain. garbed entirely in black, save for the yellow of her belt and the outline of a bat that adorned her chest. The man was intrigued to see her, as she accompanied him to his room. Cassandra did not usually see victims through after bringing them to safety, but it had proven a quiet night in Gotham, and somehow the old man had intrigued her since he had insisted on making the call. After the preliminary screenings found he had not broken any bones, he was admitted to a room. A plucky nurse chuckled as she entered. "And you and Snowball just left this wing, Father Ryan," she said. "You take one step outside and wind up right back in." She turned toward the Batgirl and continued to laugh. "And God sent you a very special angel to get you here all right, now didn't he?" Cassandra wondered for a moment why she had called the man father before he laughed a little and replied, "The Lord works in mysterious ways, Jane. Now, when morning comes, you'll have to call somebody. I know Snowball won't bring anyone here any trouble, but hospital policy, you know?" Of course, he said. "No, Jane, I'm feeling fine. A few days rest and I'll be back on my feet." Could you give us a moment?" "Oh, certainly. You just let me know if you need anything." The two were soon left alone. The old man turned towards Cassandra and said, "I haven't had much of a chance to thank you properly." "Why did she call you father?" Cassandra asked. Ryan smiled. "She's a member of my congregation. My name is George Ryan, Monsignor." Monsignor? Cassandra tried to sound the word out, still unsure of its meaning. "I take it you aren't a Catholic, then." He was still smiling. Cassandra was sure she knew that word, but was unsure where she would have picked it up, and decided to press on. "Why did you call the hospital?" "I wanted to make sure those two received care as soon as I could. I'm very glad that you saved me, but I want to make sure they can be out and about again." This came as a surprise to Cassandra. She had not stayed afterward for many attacks on the innocents of Gotham, but was sure most of them didn't harbor such goodwill towards their assailants. "Could have killed you. And maybe after tonight they'll know why they shouldn't try to do such things again," Ryan said. "We all stray from the path sometimes, but we all deserve the chance to find it again." Cassandra had so rarely felt so perplexed by a man's mantra. Most of Gotham thought the criminals of the city below them, a species apart, to be captured and put away forever. Even if he insisted otherwise, sometimes it was hard to believe even Bruce didn't think that way sometimes. Cassandra didn't want to linger on these thoughts, and said, "I must go." "Wait!" Ryan pointed toward the coat he had come in with. "My left pocket. Please, I don't have much to offer you, but think of it as a token of my appreciation. Snowball and I are so very grateful." Cassandra went to his pocket and pulled out what appeared to be a large beaded necklace, a small T shape at the bottom with a man etched into it. "Take one of my cards, too," Ryan said. "I'd be happy to see you again, perhaps out of costume next time." Cassandra pulled out one of the cards, marked Monsignor George Ryan, St. Michael's Cathedral, Gotham City. "Wouldn't recognize me," Cassandra said. "That's all right," Ryan said. "We get newcomers all the time. Maybe I'll have to treat everyone as if they just saved my life." And he began to laugh again. Clutching the strange necklace and card, Cassandra made her way out, perplexed by the man's happiness and methodology, but deciding she would have to see him again.